Yo, how's it going, my fellow revelers? Welcome back to another episode of the Festy Up podcast. I'm your host, Manny, aka Frisky Hug, and today's special guest we have John. He's also known as Primal Productions Management on Instagram. He's also the owner of Endless Summer Nights. So if you see like Endless Summer Nights floating around doing a couple of events, that's the same guy, Primal, doing the same business, doing the same thing. But before we get started with our amazing podcast today, we are going to do our 4 shoutouts like we do every single week. And just how I tell you guys every single podcast episode, the handles and all that description stuff will be down below. Go ahead and check them out if you guys are interested. We got content creators, we got DJs, we got brands, we got friends, followers that we kind of give shoutouts to. If you guys are new to this podcast and if you're watching it on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, even share it. Word of mouth kind of helps me out. If you're listening to this and you're not watching this, let's say you're on Spotify or SoundCloud, I would really appreciate if you gave it a follow. Heck, just give it a like. I'll be very happy with that. I mean, any support is good support. I really appreciate you guys. Honestly, I wouldn't be where I'm at today with this podcast if it wasn't for literally all of you guys. The amount of shares you guys put out on Instagram, tagging me, I mean, it all matters and it all helps, and I really appreciate it. I really am. But like I said, we're going to do our 4 shoutouts of the week, and our number 1 is going to be for a content creator. We have ZOMG Steph. Stephanie to me was first introduced through TikTok, but she's also on Instagram. Same name, but there's like an underscore before her name. The kind of content that she does is a lot of like rave festival type humor. She does a lot of like stuff with her face, like makeup and a lot of like art on her face. Really creative person, really funny videos, and she's super interesting. I definitely recommend giving her a look. Check out her videos. She's definitely popping off on TikTok. Number 2, we got DJ or producer, and that's going to go to DrinkUrWater. He's an Atlanta local. I first got to know him, I think it was like 5 years ago. He was playing for OK and just fell in love with his music. Then I started seeing his name like around a little bit more, and I think I saw him again at Imagine. Then he played at the Corona stage for EDC Orlando. I mean, he's been out and about for the last 3 years, making a name for himself, and I've definitely seen him a lot on a lot of flyers. Definitely go check him out. Brand or business is our number 3, and that's gonna go to Disco Lemonade. This is a female clothing brand, so if you aren't familiar with this, they do a lot of like fairy type wear. On the description that they have on there is fairy armor. I will admit that it seems a little more on the bouge side. It's a little bougie if you ask me when it comes down to like rave attire. From what I hear, it's a little bit expensive, but honestly, I haven't seen one person look bad at any of those designs. It's really good quality, and you're gonna look fire at any festival, I promise. But this is an all women's clothing brand. Sorry, fellas, but just wanted to give out some more information on that because I know there's a couple of females that have probably never heard of this brand, but that's discolemonade.co. And then 4 is going to go to a friend or supportive follower, and this is going to go to my boy Brice.Manzi. So Brice he's actually not a rave-related content creator, but he used to create content on TikTok, which is kind of where I got to talk to him and got introduced to him. He used to be in the military, so a lot of his content was like military related, and we kind of hit it off because I didn't even know he loved going to festivals and stuff, and so now we talk a lot and stuff like that. He got out of the military. Congratulations, Brice, on also getting out of the military. So we actually got out at the exact same time, so that was really funny, honestly. But I'm shouting him out because I'm trying to get him to go to Countdown Orlando Invasion with me. So hopefully this will convince him to just come over, have fun, get a little getting out of the army celebration with me. But yeah, definitely check him out. He's also on Instagram. Like I said, with all of these, including the podcast guests, all the information will be down below. So without further ado, we'll start with the podcast. Yo, so how's it going, everybody? So for today, I got Primal Productions, aka John. John, if you don't mind, kind of just introducing yourself.
Yeah, so I'm John. I run Primal Productions Management along with Endless Summer Nights. I do artist management along with festivals and shows, throughout the country.
Yeah, so the way we started like meeting each other and stuff is I actually knew a guy that knew John, who I'm not friends with anymore. but uh, but I was like, hey, like I worked with so and so. I'm hoping like maybe I could work with you. And John was pretty like pretty responsive. Would be like, oh, dude, like fucking let's work some shit out. Let's make some shit happen. And this being during like the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the beginning of like the pandemic, right? So everything kind of went to shit, and you decided that you were gonna do like a drive-in rave. Where did that like whole entire concept even come from?
Yeah, so I mean, like during the pandemic, everything kind of shut down. Shows were canceled. We were kind of all trying to figure it out at the same time, and I actually went downtown and went to go to a car meetup at Ace Cafe, and I kind of saw a field that they throw concerts at a lot and do live events at. And I was speaking with one of my friends, and he was like, "We should do one of those drive-ins, here." And so the idea kind of snowballed really quickly.
Yeah.
At first, it was supposed to just be some local people, my artists that I manage, and just kind of have some fun with it. And I spoke with one of my friends, and I was like, "Hey," he was like, "Do you want to make this like big?" And I was like, "Let's go with it." So it's actually from time of inception of idea to the day of show, it was less than 40 days.
Who was the first like company or person that actually started like the drive-in stuff? Can't even remember where that even all started from.
Yeah, I mean I know we were one of Florida's first,
Yeah.
if not the first. There have been a couple of them that have been canceled, like right before us due to weather and some other stuff that happened. But man, I'm trying to remember. I think the first one.
Yeah, because I cannot remember who actually like was the one like in the U.S. like initiated like, oh, we're gonna do like these giant things. Like I do know that Europe, they were doing the pod styles, right? They
Yeah.
decided to do like pod style stuff, which I feel like was a pretty effective thing. I mean, kind of removed the cars out of the situation, and you just got a bunch of your little pods, and they had like a waiter like going kind of to your,
Yeah.
which was really cool. And Danny from Mutiny Collective,
Yeah, you say Rolling Raves, yeah.
he did that the first Roland Rave where he actually had somebody in a go-kart come to each car,
Yeah.
and I was like, that was pretty bad. So you order through a QR code, and then they would just bring it to you and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty nifty. That was pretty cool. I mean, I think the second one, he was like, okay, we could do without this because like now, we're kind of running into our funds and stuff. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little bougie if you ask me, which is fine.
Yeah.
And that idea came from Europe, and I'm trying to think, maybe it was Europe that actually came up with like the car idea first, maybe.
It might have been. I know Europe was definitely a lot more restrictive,
Yeah.
for the U.S. for a long time. But they all happened really quickly. Like it kind of, I would say the summer was probably the first one, and then the Insomniac kind of took over really quick with that. And
Oh, dude.
Disco Donnie and
And that's like the thing, man, right? Like it's a lot of like the smaller promoters that like get the ideas and start doing that. And then it's like, once something's successful, like, Disco Donnie or fucking like, Pasquale would be
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's fucking monetize this
yeah,
bitch.
and then they just kind of amplify everything that they have, and they have a
Yeah.
lot more of the capital to kind of raise it and make it a crazy experience.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so let's talk a little bit about you and why Primal Productions Management. Like, where did that name come from?
It was actually ironically, Primal was, I used to, write music and, write songs and lyrics. And there was a song I wrote, like, when I was way young. I was, like, probably 13, 14, and I called
Yeah.
it Primal Fear. And that, for whatever reason, it was just the one thing that stuck in my head that I wanted to use it as a brand of some sort. But we also do productions, and I also manage as well. So I
Yeah.
kind of just put it all into one. And, so that's where it kind of came from.
And then how long have you been doing Endless Summer Nights? And then, well, actually, let's start with what is Endless Summer Nights?
Yeah, so Endless Summer Nights is kind of really started as a drive-in. I mean, when we had the first one, I didn't even have any social media for it. It was all ran through Primal. We barely had a name until about 2 days before we actually launched it. So that kind of, made it quick. But we, started with the drive-ins, and then after the drive-ins and COVID kind of relaxed and started getting better, and we started doing shows and little curated events, throughout the country to make it, we bring in extra production, we bring in, very interesting lineups that aren't, we normally see. We really try to make it a different event than what's normally happening.
What were, what were like the pros and cons with like your first drive-in rave, and then what are the pros and cons with your second one? I mean, I can only assume that maybe there was like a learning factor, towards making the day two drive-in or the second drive-in, right?
Mm-hmm.
What were like some of the things that maybe like you learned as well?
Yeah, so I mean, I think everybody was really learning on the go as we
Yeah.
kind of went through. It was unprecedented territory at the time, so a lot of the stuff we were kind of winging at the time. We had I think just trying to figure out the best way to get the vehicles in the right area to do it in, but still do it safely.
How did you come up with Ace Cafe? I mean, that was
Yeah,
just
so that just happened to be where I was just at that car meet, and I saw that it was built specifically for cars and the meetups, and the parking lot is specifically built for cars. And there was a field next to it, and then Ace Cafe is actually it's one of Orlando's first venues. So they used to have a lot of rock shows and stuff like that. So they were already built for live music events, and we just combined the two and came out with what we had.
Yeah, so like when I was gonna go to Endless Summer Nights, right? And I was like looking up like the place and stuff, and I was like, it says it an Ace Cafe, but I'm like, like I don't really understand what's going on. I asked my buddy who like lives here, and I was like, what is your opinion? Like, well, what is going on? Because like, is it like in a parking lot? Is that what we're doing? We're having like a parking lot show, and so when I went and I actually like saw it, I mean, it was pretty mind boggling. Like, okay, like how you had it all set up was pretty nifty. I definitely love the way you did it, and I think I love that you did like little pod areas too. I mean, obviously during this fucking panini, nobody wants to see a bunch of people grouped up together. But
yeah, though that was one thing we really had to struggle with was PR and making sure everybody had their masks on, and at the time, especially at the time, that's really, I would say, when cancel culture really kind of came out to play. So I actually hired a team, and I had 20 people. Literally, their entire job was just to make sure people were socially distanced and had their masks on.
Yeah.
Like it was very hard to keep up with. And from the first day to the second day, like we dramatically improved the system and how it was set up. We had a lot of people gathering on the first day, but we took care of it very quickly. And the second day, we kind of put more, implemented a lot more rules and kind of built the infrastructure correctly to where it was.
And I feel like it doesn't really like matter, man. Like what you do, like someone's always gonna call somebody out, and there's always gonna be somebody getting fucking canceled. I don't know what during this whole COVID scenario, man. I just feel like a lot of the cancel culture was really prominent, and it was like it didn't matter what you did, man. Somebody was gonna find something fucking wrong. The fact that you were at a drive-in rave, man, that's the only reason they fucking need. You're at a drive-in rave, canceled.
Yeah, it was. Man, it was I don't know, it was hard to navigate through, but yeah, there's always going to be a reason for the pitchforks and knives, to come out. And but I think we navigated it properly. We had a good reputation for keeping it safe and going above and beyond to make sure that it was safe and as friendly as possible without blowing up into something bad.
Well, so like the drive-in raves, right? There was one and there was two. Yep. I actually didn't go to the first one. I kind of kicked myself, because I was invited to it by the guy that kind of like introduced me to you and stuff like that. And I decided just not to go. And I think it was because even though it was like COVID and stuff, I was actually going to like 3 fucking raves in a month, and I was like, I need a break, man. I just got back from like the Arizona one or some shit. I don't know. I'm like, I just need a break, man. So I didn't go. And I was traveling to like states that were a little bit freer and like actually had raves going on and stuff. So I was like literally leaving just so I could, I guess, party. Yeah. A little selfish of me. I really don't care. Yep. Cancel me. I don't know what to tell you. And then I don't know, man. I don't know where I was going with this. I think I like just lost track.
That's all good. I mean, from the first one. I mean, the first one was. That was an event I think, kind of remember. It kind of put us on the map. We had a great lineup, main headliners, Virtual Riot, Champagne Drip. We kind of had like a Disciple Day on day 1, and then we had a Wakan Day on day 2. And that really kind of made it good for everybody to come into it. But for the second one, that was... Florida's always been kind of a freer state when it came to rules and regulations on that. And, we still kind of, we kept that same branding to make it safe during COVID, because December was really bad for COVID, especially in Florida. But other promoters were actually just starting to do regular in-person events, mask required kind of thing. But
I had my first vaccine shot when I went to Endless Summer Nights and stuff, and like I still was like getting threats and shit from people saying, I can't believe you went to that, like you're selfish, you care more about fucking partying than... And you know what? Yes, I fucking do. I don't.
And it was, and I think
I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not actually like that selfish.
I think as well when it comes to people kind of trying to find a blame for the partying aspect of it, it's I think it's a lot deeper than that. People need that escape. They need that change in reality just for a little bit. And especially during that time, everybody was at home, depressed. Everything had changed. Everything that they knew was normal now was completely different. So for being able to provide that, just, I don't know, even from the first drive-in, we were the only thing really going on at that time. And to see, I don't know, more than any other show I've been to in a while, was just that sense of joy and happiness on those people's faces, that they were able to kind of, I don't know, just break from reality, and that's everything that they were missing. So I think we did our job on that.
So COVID's gone. Well, it's not gone, but in fact,
we're getting there.
Omicron.
Oh, God.
But COVID's gone in the U.S.
Florida, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist, right?
Yep.
So, what is like the journey now? Like, I mean, you must have, like, you obviously shifted directions and stuff like that. I'm kind of curious what went through your mind when you're like, okay, fucking, like, these drive-ins aren't gonna fucking do it anymore. Like, what was your process and what were you thinking?
Yeah, so I mean, we kind of took a break a little bit for the end of the year after that. Christmas was right after that. I mean, it was only 4 or 5 days later, and then New Year's happened, and I think actually the country itself kind of got back on the right track. The vaccines had come out; they were stronger. People, less cases, being a little healthier, and we kind of took the chance and be like, we're going to do a live event. At the time, it was about Texas or Florida. It was about the only states that you could really choose to go to.
And what was your first one that you did, like, on the show or on the road?
We did Janston, Whittler, and Smokelands out in Houston. And then the next day, we did Austin, Texas.
It's funny, as I debated also going to the Houston, because, like, I had debated for so long, and I was like, at first I was going like, okay, I'm going to go. And then I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to go, because I think it was, like, right after, like, a certain festival or whatever. It was after Abu Dhabi.
Yep.
It was like literally the next week.
Yep.
And I was like, oh no, I can't go. Like, I'm just too tired. I can't make it. And then all my friends were like, oh, by the way, we're gonna go. And I was like, fuck, maybe I can go. Looking at flights, and I'm over here trying to justify spending $500 for a round trip to go to the show.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, I really can't justify this right now, man. I'm like, that is a lot of money right now. If I had to make that choice, I should have made it fucking 3 weeks ago when tickets were like $49 round trip, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, the flights like the day before anything is just
it's crazy. Yeah, and we did really well on that one. We sold out both days. That was pretty nice. And then immediately after that, on Monday, like 2 days later, we announced Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So we teamed up with Solace, group out there that we're close with, and did another show out there and sold that one out, and it kind of just snowballed into what it is now.
Yeah, so, yeah. So why Endless Summer Nights? So why the name, and then why the logo?
Yes. So we were trying to, when I first announced the drive-in, we were building the flyers for it and everything, and it was about a day or two before we even launched it. We had no name. We had nothing. Like, we literally just had the flyer, where it was going to be, no name for the event or the brand. So I was actually talking about my girlfriend, talking to her and trying to throw ideas and get it rounding, and then she's like, well, what about, Endless Summer? It's on the state slogan. And I was like, well, I don't.
Wait, is it really the state slogan?
It's the state slogan. It's Endless Summer. You see it on the license plates. You see it on everything.
Shit.
And so I was like, well, that's a good branding idea. If people will see it, they'll remember us with it. So kind of just went with, it's supposed to be at night. It's always, raves, festivals, everything that goes with that. So I just added the nights to it. And the logo itself, actually, I wanted something that was a little bit in the kind of vaporwave glitch 3D aspect that was really unique and, rememberable. So, I had his name is Diasco, but he actually performed at the second drive-in. He opened for us over there, but he actually did my Primal logo, way a long time ago. And so he kind of presented this idea. I was like, I kind of want something in the diamond pattern, something that pop off and make it well. And he presented me this, and we kind of rolled with it and made some tweaks and changes to it. And when you see it graphically, it's more of like a 3D kind of style, and it's just the colors are important, and we
I definitely dig it. I mean, I thought it was very unique and stuff. It reminded me of like a logo that the Fresh Raver, I don't know if you know who that is, but he was designing a logo very similar to that. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, like very like 3D type of like logo. And I mean, I have a pin and stuff. It's in one of my hats.
I think I have more.
Here, let me.
There you go.
All right. Sorry to keep everybody waiting.
We're back.
So I have, we're back. So I got my EDC hat, which I don't know if you guys can see in the YouTube video, but yeah. Oh shit, you had.
I was trying to tell you.
My bad. That's me.
No, you're good. But yeah, so I mean, not sure if you guys can see that, but we have some pins and hats and merch and all this stuff that goes with it.
You still got the like the merch on the store, or?
Yeah, yep. So we still have that available.
So I'll go ahead and put that on the description below if anybody wants to check it out and stuff as well.
Yeah, we'll send the link onto it and get that set up. So I mean, yeah, everybody seems to really like that logo, and it really kind of stands out. And we
I have actually seen people wearing it when I've been like at the clubs.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. To see it around. Yeah, we're actually I know for being a small company, I mean, I think we're pretty well known throughout the country. And
do you have anything else going on like here in the Orlando scene or like in Florida in general?
Yeah, so I mean, I do a lot of background stuff when it comes to Primal ESN. I don't guess I'm not the type of person to kind of put it out there and do it, but I do a lot of talent buying for other companies and for other promoters around the country, and I do a lot of promotions for Celine and for Guild, Ace Cafe.
Okay.
So we do that. We actually just officially announced it today. We'll be partnering with Interstellar Music Festival. So that'll be out at the Kentucky Speedway this year. Last year it was in Cincinnati, which is like right on the river. So know Cincinnati.
Talk to me about like Interstellar. Like what is Interstellar?
It started off as Afterlife, 2 years ago. And they had officially launched the sales of the tickets, and that was the end of the year of 2019. So we can kind of see where that progresses into 2020, and they actually had to put it on hold and change it just because of COVID. And at the time, right when they had launched it, I had submitted some stuff to get some of my artists on the roster, and they were accepted, and we kind of that's how that working relationship started, and we really kind of hit it off, and went well, and we ended up going to Interstellar, which was back in August.
I wanted to go. There's like a lot of festivals I just want to go to. It's like I do things with Radiate and stuff, and Radiate gave me a free ticket to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I really justify? And like it always comes down to the flights. Can I fucking make this fucking flight, man?
Yeah.
And no, I could not. Right?
No.
No. It's just too expensive sometimes, and like, and like I think about like just being like a content creator and stuff like. 90% of the tickets I go to, like these festivals, they're all free.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like what's costing me is like lodging and the flights. Can I make those things happen?
Yeah.
Sometimes my flights actually like comped, so I mean that's kind of nice. But that's only like 10% of the times, right?
Yeah,
so like the other person, sometimes they do. I could think the benefits of like being well known and stuff. Like I usually have somebody host me whenever I do go somewhere else. So like I always have somebody host. Which is really beautiful stuff. So I always have to like worry about like just the flights in general.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go to Interstellar, and wasn't there an issue with Interstellar? Like wasn't like it muddy or some shit or?
No, that wasn't. I don't think that was Interstellar. Interstellar was Riverfront Live, which is a good warehouse right on the river in Cincinnati. No, it's all asphalt and parking out there.
I'm thinking about like another festival then because.
Oh, I know the name of it. No,
yeah.
It's really similar to Interstellar, but I don't know exactly. That was an issue. No, that was like where they couldn't get in for like hours and people were just waiting.
Asteria, I think it was, right?
Well, Asteria had issues. That was here. That was flooded and it got really bad. There's like a hurricane coming through.
I think that's what I'm talking
about.
Yeah,
no, Asteria's here in Florida. Yeah, no, that was Interstellar was out in Ohio. But Asteria, that was. Oh man. Anyway.
So what kind of artists, or is that just a secret, or what kind of artists should we expect at like Interstellar?
So I can't say too much on that part.
What genres are we talking about?
I mean, it's actually they do a really well range of actually blending in a lot of genres. For last year, the main headliners were Boombox Cartel, Adventure Club, Liquid Stranger. They had Mize to G-Rex to Shipwreck.
Jesus Christ.
It was everywhere. They had a lot. They had anything from house to dubstep to Lacan to whatever you like. So there was a really wide range. And so with this year, they're going to be doubling the amount of artists that are going to be there. First year is going to be a camping festival. And it's at the Kentucky Speedway, which is technically a NASCAR track. So it'll be kind of similar to Las Vegas, or Orlando. It's going to be right on the outskirts of it, full camping. It's right in the national park. It's beautiful out there.
I mean, I honestly when I went to EDC Las Vegas, they had the camping area like on concrete, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever. And they do a really good job of like putting on turf right underneath. So yeah, like something to kind of like be on. But honestly, I kind of didn't mind it. It was clean. I didn't have to worry about like dust, dirt, shit getting everywhere. Yeah. Ants crawling up my asshole. Like I didn't have to worry about none of this shit, right? So like it's just full on concrete. Everything was clean, and they had that turf, dude. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, camping at EDC, just fucking chef's kiss. I
Yeah.
would do it again.
Yeah.
Have you ever been camping at EDC?
I tend to actually not do camping. I don't know. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'd much rather just leave and go to a hotel and
Yeah.
stay. That's just my kind of break away from it.
I think for me, like I normally do, I do that. And the thing about like EDC Las Vegas is if you plan on like even shuttling fucking back or even driving back, you gotta one leave very early, and then two, sometimes the drive is like 40 fucking minutes and stuff like that.
Dude, the last time I was at EDC Vegas, we were driving to Vegas. I think it was Saturday, which is like always the most sold day, and we
No,
went.
yeah, they sold out fucking this year. So.
Yep. So yeah, the 2019 was even bigger. I mean, it was huge. I mean, we left the strip, and I took a different way than I normally did. I took the highway, which is never recommended. Don't do that. But yeah, it took us 3.5 hours to get in just from the highway. But once we got in, the parking was great, really quick. But just getting to the venue, it was massive backup.
I don't know if you know, but I think it was like day one. I'm pretty sure it was day one, and people were trying to go to the festival, and I think it was like around like 9 p.m. or some shit like that. People had been waiting on the freeway for 10 hours.
Oh my god.
So
yeah, I mean that's absurd.
It's just like the traffic itself, and it's like where people were just waiting. Like the fact that everybody decided to just drive at the same exact fucking time. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. And a lot of people do leave. It was just surprising. On a Friday, you'd think people would get there early.
Yeah.
It's mostly like Saturday or Sunday. You don't get there till super late and shit. Like I, for one, on Sunday, I went to the opening ceremony both days. On the last day, I'm already tired. I don't want to go. I debate just like staying.
Yeah.
So
this
not,
hotel is way nicer right now.
just not going. Just fucking. I've left festivals one day and I'm just like, okay, I'll just do 2 out of it. I don't feel bad just going for half the time. I'm like, I'm having a great experience, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of like, at least for my mentality, is I go to a festival and stuff like that. I don't mind leaving.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've definitely done that and be able to not stress yourself for staying, because it'll turn that great experience into a bad experience.
How busy are you? Cause like now that I'm thinking about like me fucking arriving late and all shit, like you have to fucking be there from like the beginning to the end, right?
Oh yeah, like when I'm throwing shows or festivals, I mean, you're talking. I get on site sometimes 7, 8 a.m. And I'll be there until everything's torn down, taken off. We'll be there until 6 or 7 the next day. So it's almost a full 24-hour shift. And then so if we're doing those multiple days, I might get 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night at the most.
Fuck that.
On top of like artist transportation, taking care of staffing, everything, making sure the production is correct, getting all that set up, the staffing is fed and breaks are given, and it's taken out. It's a very stressful. I mean, the first drive and I was dead. Like I barely survived.
I've experienced people just like not giving it their all and stuff like that, and it was like somebody I was working for, when they had like the artist come in and the artist like, hey, I need to go back to like my fucking hotel, and the guy's like, yeah, let me find somebody to take you back, bro. Like this is something that should have been like in the planning.
Yeah,
like
no, that's. I kind of pride myself into doing that with the attention to details, and it's the people go there because of the artists, like so they should be really kind of catered to as much as possible, and either have your main person that's their entire job, or have backups on backups on backups, and making sure that it's ran as smoothly as possible.
Yeah, you should. It shouldn't be like okay, let me just find somebody last minute. Hey man, you sober? What the fuck, bro?
Yeah, I've definitely seen that with other promoters and other events, and I kind of study that and make sure that that's going to be the exact opposite of what I want to do.
Did you ever do any work at in Colorado?
No, I was kind of out of the scene after that. So, I wasn't really in the scene right there, so kind of just started here.
So you started here how long ago? 7 years?
Yeah, I've been here almost that. Yeah.
So you started when you got here, you're like, because I know you were doing something with Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, right?
Yeah.
So
did rock shows as well.
Did you start with rock shows, or like the whole scene, like the?
No, I mean, my personal taste in music and stuff kind of started with that,
Mine too.
rock,
Mine
metal.
too. I
think everybody in the EDM scene.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a big that generation crossover into
big
EDM.
chunk of us at least were like fucking pop rock or fucking
emo
rock,
metal or something like that.
Punk rock,
it's very
alternative rock.
It's still emotional. It still draws all those feelings into it. It creates that connectiveness. It's unique. It's everybody. Especially in festivals, everybody goes there because they don't belong anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the same thing with emo.
Fucking losers, bro.
Like yeah, losers, man.
Us.
No more.
Unite.
But yeah, so we kind of branched into rock shows. That was only about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So we'll be doing some more of that. Just kind of I don't know, my personal taste, trying to try something new and see how it goes.
Are you just trying to like open your variety, or are you just trying to like shift?
No, just open the variety and become, you know, different than what the mainstream,
Yeah.
festivals and shows are doing, and just do stuff that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing to where even my lineups aren't. I try not to get those cookie cutter, just regular lineups. I try to diversify as much as possible.
I love, at least for me, like my favorite festivals and stuff. Like people, like I love separate genres of like EDM. Like I love, that's why EDC Las Vegas is one of my favorite festivals in the world, right? It's like everything's super separated and stuff. Where like you have every stage that has a different genre, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking love that shit, bro. Because I move around so much just trying to listen to different genres. But what I love the most is when you separate EDM as a whole different genre, and then you have rock, and you got your jazz, and you got your hip hop and stuff like Buku Music Festival was it is one of my like favorite like multi genre festivals, bro. I love it. I want to go to hang out in Alabama now, and I want to fuck it, but like maybe it's a little played out, but like I want to go to Coachella. Like I've never been. I definitely want to hit it at least once. And I love
Lollapalooza, stuff like that.
Lollapalooza, yeah. I think somebody was in my DMs like, bro, I'm gonna get you a fucking ticket. Like, you're gonna come. And that in Bonnaroo, people want to go to Lollapalooza and Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fucking.
Bonnaroo's hot. Oh man, it's hot. It's always in the summer.
Really?
There's like one tree.
Fuck.
It's like it's like going to a Florida fest in the middle of the swamp. And
I mean, fucking.
But it's great. I mean, it's
someone buys me a ticket, bro, I'm going.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't turn that down. It's great, man. You gotta deal with the weather, but that's part of it. Going to festivals.
And we forget that, right? Like all of these things are part of like the festival, and like I think that we forget, right? Because like I want to say like back in like so many days, but like let's fucking narrow it down to like 10 fucking years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like we were dealing with a lot worse issues and stuff like that. And then I think now we've just been pampered so much. I mean,
it's incredible. I mean, I've been going to shows and festivals for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Like started out really young. There wasn't festivals. It was like massives or like raves. That's all you had to choose. You couldn't just go online and find out where it was. Like you had to go to a record store. You had to go to a juggling shop. You had to go to these small little buku places, all word of mouth. Like you had to get secret
go to the lady, the fucking old man at the bodega.
Yeah. He's got a little festival flyer behind him trying to sell you like. Yeah, it's.
And people forget fucking like.
I don't think people actually like, especially now, like they never even experience that. So the ease of information and the being able to even find these shows at the drop of a hat is mind-boggling to me still, because the realm of promoting has completely flipped.
Yeah.
It was handing out flyers at the club, like kind of pushing. You didn't have MySpace, you didn't have Instagram, you didn't have any of that.
When I was first starting and like I didn't have like the money to go to festivals and I had the money to go to shows, and it was like, where can I go? It was all word of mouth. There was like no flyers. It was like she knew where he needed to go and they knew. Yeah. And one day I was like, okay, I was like, hey, I know you know where the fucking rave is at. Where's the Renegade,
Yep.
And like, not anybody uses the word Renegade anymore. Even people don't even know what the Renegade is. So it's basically like an underground like rave, basically.
Not saying shouldn't have been busted anytime.
Oh, and it 100% was busted every time.
Yeah, SWAT shows up.
Oh yeah, so I was told like, oh yeah, you gotta go to the beach and it's on a cliff. And I was like, bitch. And then they're like, yeah, and it's in a cave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I'm roaming the beach, bro, going around and like I'm looking for a fucking cave that I've never been to before, you know? And they're like, and the next thing I heard was like, hey, if you haven't found it yet, it's above like this part of the beach, right? So I finally get to it. I'm literally going through like, I don't even think there were roads. It's just people drove through it so many times it created a road. Yeah. And I finally find a fucking cave, and people are there doing poi, and they're, it was like, I felt like the fucking cave was gonna come down on us at any fucking moment. Like it's not meant to fucking rave in. And like we're literally on the edge of a cliff, literally giving people light shows, and I was like, this is what the fucking rave scene is, bro. Yeah. There's no water station.
Yeah, there's nothing. Like you're suffering the whole night.
There's no medical personnel. There's no there's none of that shit. Yeah. And I get people say like, oh, I'm going to the rave. I'm going to a festival to like be free and enjoy my vacation and like be stress free and all that nonsense or whatever. And I get that. Yeah. But back in the days, man, We went
you
there.
had none of those luxuries.
You don't have none of those luxuries, man. We're there literally to fucking party. Like this isn't Disneyland. Like,
yeah, no, it's for adults only kind of thing.
Yeah,
it
man.
was the realm has definitely changed. Consider you guys yourself lucky because it's been. I mean, when I went to EDC Denver, like people probably don't even remember that, but it was for like 1 year watching like Caspa and Resco play in a pop-up tent like off of the side.
You say
to, like,
did you say Casbo?
Caspa and Resco. So like the original dubstep
shit.
people, like you're talking, they're playing to like maybe 50 to 100 people on a pop-up beer pong table next to like the warehouse. You know, and like the festival lineup for there, it was like they had one ride. It was off to the side. Mm-hmm. There was 2 warehouses, and it was like Paul Van Dyke and like Armin van Buren. You know, like those kind of had. There was no dubstep, was brand new at the time, barely coming out. That's like Excision and other people we won't mention, but you know, his partner in crime growing up. But you know that
who Elenia might have.
Yeah, he's trying to come back, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh shit!
Yeah, because they grew up together.
Gotcha.
But, no, but I mean,
speaking of Datsik.
Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah.
We're just gonna go into it. So
yeah.
It was funny because like I'm not gonna mention who, but like one of my friends was like I'll be honest, man. Like regardless of what happened, like I still like his music. You know, like you're trying to start a controversial conversation right now, my guy.
Yeah, like that's a very sensitive topic.
And it is very sensitive, and not just for Datsik alone, right?
No, it's any art. I mean, even you bring up Michael Jackson. You know, same kind of thing. Like, if people will always have that nostalgic tie-in to whatever their favorite artist was, whatever it is, and it's very difficult to get rid of that. You know, with whether you want to talk about Datsik or Bass Nectar or Michael Jackson, the list goes on. You know,
and my roommate was just talking about that, and we were talking about so like I thought you were talking about somebody else at the beginning because like Illenium played a Bass Nectar's song.
He immediately apologized.
He'd be like, guys, like listen,
I
don't normally play it.
Point. I mean,
I get it.
His track list is thousands of tracks that he
huge.
puts into it. It's not like you're gonna remember everything.
And he's just looking for, you know, drum and bass artists and stuff like that. Like, he's not even thinking about it. I get it, man.
He listens to the tune, puts it on, doesn't listen to it. Like.
And honestly, man, if he would have played that fucking song, I wouldn't even have noticed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was never really a big Bass Nectar fan, but.
Honestly, some of y'all just need to do more drugs if you're literally paying attention to all these fucking songs and shit.
Yeah, like, there's so much content, there's so much songs and tracks, and, you know, people are human, and. You know, like you get mad when somebody plays Billie Jean, and you're gonna go cancel somebody like a wedding DJ that plays Michael Jackson.
And that's funny, right? Because my roommate was just talking about that shit. He's like, people want to fucking cancel like Illenium on Twitter. First of all, if you're fucking on Twitter, just stop. Just
stay away from it. I've rarely, if ever, promote on Twitter.
I'm literally so there was this guy at EDC Orlando. Yeah, EDC Orlando. Who knows? One fucking festival.
One of them.
and he tells me, he's like, man, I love your vibe. Oh, Sunset Music Festival. Boom, got it. My black dude, I don't really know his name. God damn it. Whatever. Anyways, he was like, hey, man, like, I love your vibe, bro. I love your content, all this stuff. He's like, if you ever need any fucking help, bro, let me know. I got you. He's like, how's your Twitter? And I was like, bro, I don't use that shit.
Yeah.
Bro, I was like this close to giving him my Twitter account. Like, you take care of it, bro. It's yours.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just need somebody to basically just write a couple fucking words in there and be like, keep me active, you know what I mean? Because I'm not doing it. I promise you that.
Twitter for me, I mean, I'll occasionally write some stuff, but the majority of it is just like I'm sharing it from Instagram, the same post that I made there, and leave it at that. I mean, it's I don't know. It's
I don't know how it works. And then like when I do post on it, it gets like no interactions. I'm like, I'm not even.
But people see it, and it's like you got one like, and you're like, what? Why am I doing this?
I don't understand. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I feel. I'm like, I don't even want to fucking do this anymore, right? Yeah. And I think it's because the algorithm. Even if they do see it and they don't like it, more people should be able to see it. And you should get a little bit more likes than just 3. You know what I mean? Like, like if I have 1,000 followers on there, why am I only getting 1 to 3 likes, right? And it's because the algorithm is like, oh, I'm just not going to share this because you're not active, right? Yeah. So if you're inactive, a lot of the times, like, the algorithm is just going to be like, well, why should we push your shit out?
Yeah. Social media algorithms are the bane of my existence. I mean, that's
what you got to get somebody to do it for you.
You know? You try to get somebody to do it for you. You got to pay somebody to do it. It's just cost into it.
That's true.
And then it also kind of takes away that creative vision that you already have that is almost impossible to translate to somebody else. You know, however hard you try, like I want you to do this, this, and this. Like their own intuition is going to be like, okay, well, I'll do it like this, but I'm gonna put my own twist on it. And
it's funny because like we're talking into like the realm of like marketing and stuff, right? And like, how did you handle your marketing?
yeah. So I mean, the way it started, I mean, it was we got. I think luck had a lot to do with that, as we announced, because we didn't say anything, we didn't announce it. We literally just posted the flyer and then let it do its job. But after
So
that,
people hit you up. Or...
Oh yeah, I mean, like as soon as we posted it, like we had, man, we had 15 to 20 people of large companies posting it exactly at the same time, really similar verbiage, throughout the country. And marketing is so tough, when it comes to everybody, not just to break through the algorithms to kind of push that into it, but to create the same narrative and that people are going to pay attention to. And that's all social media is getting people, you're paying for people's attention.
Yeah.
How long you can stick with it, how long you can keep them attached to your page. And I mean, I could talk for hours about, marketing and, part of that, but it's a lot more difficult than people, put into it. And you can't just like put up a post and that's it.
Yeah, so I had my boy Noah. He's
Rose?
No, not Rose.
Yeah.
Who actually says a lot of good things about you, by the way.
Yeah, no, I love Noah. He's great.
He's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
And this other Noah, he's the owner of High Ground Music Festival and Arts and Music Experience. Oh, I'm butchering the fucking name. No, I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, it wasn't me.
No, and like, so he's the owner of that festival, first time doing it. He's done a lot of shows, like he showed me his entire wall, just shows that he's done. Yeah. He's helped out with tons of events, like Shipwrecked or one of the Holy Ship, I think it was. And we got on the topic of like marketing, and I was like, how did you like manage this like marketing stuff? He's like, oh, I know zero about marketing, brother. he's like, I was struggling. He's like, the beginning I was trying to market, and it failed. I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then I'm like, so at what point did you ask help? He was like, once I like knew I wasn't fucking, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, let me get somebody who's my other friend Steph. I'm having on the podcast soon as well, and she's like a marketing queen, and she just like, she knows who lives in each state, and I don't know, she probably has like a little Excel spreadsheet, I'm sure. But like she like basically got all the influencers, right? Like that live in that area, that she knew would want to like fucking get a free ticket out of it, and then she gave them all assignments. Here's what you need to post, when to post, how to post, and what to say, who to tag. Yep. Bro, like when I tell you, like there's nobody better at marketing than her, bro. Like she's really, really good. But like people are stepping up to the game, right? Like, and I think she was like one of the first people like that started doing like big marketing tricks like this, and we have other people following in steps and stuff like that. But like marketing is a huge one. It's a huge thing for every like festival and like rave in general, right?
I mean the branding is on. It has to be on point. It has to stay consistent. But there's so much groundwork that goes with people like Steph that does those, and we have huge teams throughout the country. When you're talking Excel spreadsheets, I mean, we'll have an Excel spreadsheet of just influencers for that specific state, all of their objects,
Oh, so you guys do?
Oh, yeah.
Man,
yeah, no,
that's what I'm saying.
We use Slack a lot and stuff like that, to where they have to have, like, these certain requirements, because a lot of people don't do it. They want to be a part of it, they want to get the free ticket, and then they just kind of don't do anything.
Oh, dude, facts. And it's like, so I'm an ambassador for literally every rave that Pepe is doing, like the whole bass rush thing. Mm-hmm. So like I'm an ambassador for all of their raves and all their festivals and stuff. And I do exactly what I'm supposed to do when I'm doing it. Like I have my cell phone with like folders separated for each like company that I'm working for, each contract that I'm doing. Yeah. So I follow each contract thing that I got to do, when to post, all that things on schedule, bro. Like I got it. Yeah. Luckily Alma, who's Pepe's brother, she's very fucking smart, man. She has a WhatsApp group for everybody, right? And she literally will send us like what to post, when to post it, and she's like, boom, here it is, and like I literally just click on that thing, do the assignment right then and there, and that's it, bro. Yeah. Like having somebody like Alma that's really good at marketing, dude, it always helps and stuff. And she's keeping track, and I know she's keeping track because she literally will like each thing I put on my story that has to do with the assignment.
Yep.
So
just
I know
to kind of track each time you put it up to there, so she has her own little. Yeah,
when I tell you, she has like 200 like influencers. Yeah. To keep track of that many per festival.
Yeah, and then you have 10, 12, 13. Yeah, it's a grind. It's I tried keeping up that with just myself, and there comes a point where it's like I can't do this by myself.
It's gratuitous.
Because it's like not only am I promoting the show, it's like I'm also getting the graphics for it, I'm building the flyers, I'm managing all of that part of it, I'm booking the talent, I'm running the ticketing services, I'm doing the tickets, I'm pushing out tickets myself, I got to get the production, all of the staffing, medics, whatever it is. Like, there's so much that's like on top of that. I can't like do influencers as well, and it's
So who handles all of your like influencer stuff, and like who handles all the marketing? Like, I mean, I mean, you don't handle it all, do you? Like,
I mean, the vast majority of I do. But yeah, I've kind of delegated, different, parts of it. Addie Hudson helps me a lot when it comes with that. She's, local here to Orlando. She's worked for Insomniac. She does stuff like that. So, she's helping me a lot with those. Aspen, there's a thing you had on the podcast before.
Yep.
She was actually the first person to kind of help me with that. And it kind of just, I think ESN was one of her first kind of dives into influencer management and kind of keeping up with that. She was a great resource. Hi, Aspen.
Oh, she listens to this.
But no, she started her own company, and she's doing. She's really.
Yeah,
she's crazy good at marketing and keeping those people together.
She was one of the people like I was like thinking when I was saying like after like Stephanie was doing this like years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like more people started. I know more people start stepping up, and I'm also like really happy that it's a lot of females that are like filling out these roles, because we do need a lot more females in the industry. Other than, oh, I'm really hot and sexy, let me get a free ticket. Like it's bigger than that. And when I had Aspen on the podcast, we talked about like making a name for yourself.
Yep.
And that comes with it, right? Like actually making a name for yourself. You don't want to be known as the girl and or guy, whatever, that like got like free tickets because you are just banging or whatever, hot or I get it. That's great. That's good for you. But at the end of the day, man, you're replaceable.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So how do you make yourself not replaceable?
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of that's going to come with your drive and ambition and your execution. There's so many details that go into it, but really kind of staying on top of it and having that mission and creating, I don't know, I'm trying to find the right word for that. Your need, like just, need that you're going to be able to actually grow the company, that you're going to be putting full forth effort into accomplishing tasks that nobody else can do. So that's
like, I think like for you, right? Like Interstellar is that step, you know what I mean? Because like it was one thing to like do like endless summer night drive-ins, right? And like actually it's funny because like I talk a lot of stuff about you, just really good things, and like people then ask me a question like, yeah, but what will happen once the drive-ins are over? Like, what's John gonna do, right? And like they're asking me like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, call him up, I don't fucking know. And then I was curious myself, right? And I think I actually hit you up or whatever, and you told me that you were gonna start doing shows and you were gonna do like a whole road to type of thing.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, cool. But like that's only gonna take you so far or so long, right? Eventually you do want to do something bigger.
Yep.
And I was waiting actually for like the chance that you were gonna start like collabing with an actual festival and like actually working with that. So
yeah, we had one. We had a single day, kind of a large. We called it a massive, event, just like it was in old school days. That was back in August. It was a pretty big lineup. Troy Boy was headlining, and we had Phase One and Eliminate. List goes on.
Was that just you, or was that with partner with somebody else? Was that Grindfest on there?
No, that was back in the drive-in from back then.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah, but no, Endless Summer Nights. That was just us and YP Jerseys. He's been kind of a ride or die since the very beginning. He's been on every single show that we've done. He makes a lot of merchandise and jerseys for huge artists. Even Liquid Stranger at Lost Lands, the jersey he was wearing during his set, he made that.
So like technically, let's call it like a one-day fest as it is, right? It's a one-day fest. So like, if you could have done anything differently, right? What would you have done differently, at least for this event?
For the last one?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think it ran very smoothly. The production was next level. I think a little bit more of an interactive arts displays and kind of more performers when it comes into like the crowds and stuff like that would have been, a good change.
Kind of create like an experience and stuff.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, we even brought a bus inside of the warehouse. We had, plenty of vendors, stuff like that. But, that's just, I would say that's kind of like just the tip of the iceberg of what really builds a festival. And really kind of creating that experience and those like awe moments that you have.
And that's like one thing that separates, like, let's say Ultra Music Festival from a lot of the other festivals is the experience. And it's funny when we're talking about like EDC Las Vegas, trying to compare it with Ultra. You can't compare EDC Las Vegas to Ultra.
Yeah.
The lineup isn't everything. The fact that I could go to fucking downtown EDC and there's a fucking short people bar, like there's like fucking people, they're like 3 feet.
Yeah, they call it the mini bar.
The mini bar, you know what it was?
The place is so great. Like the first time I walked in there, I was
That
like,
was so
that was
badass,
like
man.
those kind of moments, those experiences
never
where you
gonna
walk in,
forget
you're
that
like,
shit.
holy shit, like what did I just walk into? Like those kind of moments is, I think, what we can really kind of elevate for our next shows. You know, really kind of create those memorable, unforgettable moments. That you probably the first time you watched that was like years ago, but you'll remember that. That's a story you're telling your grandkids.
Exactly,
like, back
man.
in my day, I went to EDC.
And that's what I look for when I look at like festivals that I'm going to. I'm like, oh, like obviously Electric Forest is one of those ones that also have like they have an entire experience. But I'm not really sure how I'm gonna like. They say camping is great and stuff like that, but I've heard people like struggle busting it for like their camping experience. I'm not I'm just too old to be struggling like that. Like I get it. I'm here for a fucking festival, so we're doing it. But like at the same time, it's like I don't have to do it. I don't have to fucking go. Like,
yeah. So I mean, like I said earlier, you know, camping aspect in a tent, you know, kind of like that's cool. But it's like if I'm gonna do that, like I'm gonna do that because I'm actually like going out into the wilderness and going camping. You know, but I think, you know, it's still part of the big experience, and it's important to a lot of people. You know, it's just kind of that camaraderie and kind of figuring out things on your own, and you know, having that family experience when you're going out.
Noah Levinson, that's his last name. I was like, what the fuck? I'm just blanking on a lot of things today. But Noah Levinson, the guy that did High Ground, right? He added the same thing like you were just talking about. He added a whole like art section, and people were literally painting and stuff while the festival was going on. You know, and those guys could like sell their stuff, whatever. And then he had a little dome set for yoga. And you know, it's really cool because the people who want to do the yoga sessions and stuff, they're not asking for anything other than a free ticket, bro. So you're literally getting free services, and they switch out. They have like different people, and you can get this. So when I told him, we had him on the podcast, and I was telling him like, you know, like that whole yoga thing was a really big part of like was making like your festival like really cool. I think you can make it bigger. EDC Las Vegas for campsites, they did goat yoga, and I was like, come on, bro, like. And people are willing to do this shit for free. Like you're not really paying for much, and it's like. And more people will come because like they'll hear like, wait a minute, you're telling me that there's goat yoga.
Goat yoga.
Like, they're gonna fucking come because
they have water parks and
you
slides.
got good music and goat yoga.
That's exactly what I think everybody's switching their mindset with, especially this generation, is they don't like material stuff. Like they do, and it's necessary just for their experience. People are paying for their experience. They want to have those memories. They want to have. You know, they don't want to just sit at home and own a home in a brand new car. They'd rather like live in a tiny little apartment and travel the world.
And it's experience. And like one thing I pointed out a while ago was, you know, like people come up to me and the things they say to me, like that means a lot because like I still to this day will remember a lot of the people that they tell me like really nice things. They compliment like my podcast or they'll compliment like my content. And they'll bring up like a video that they saw. I'm like, dude, like the Rave Girls Be Like videos, dude, that shit is fires. Like thank you so much for making that content. You know, like I remember those things because that's part of my personal experience, right? So like I think like people like Pasquale, like their design for the festivals that they do is to create experiences, good music, great production, but an experience.
There's you know that, you know, don't hesitate yourself to like the opportunity for amazement. You know, they have the experience there. I think the biggest draw of that is creating the opportunity to create the experiences. You know, like it's you know, you'll never remember what people say to you, but you'll always remember how they made you feel, and that's exactly what festivals are made for. Like you're not going to remember shit what your friends told you the 3-day festival, but you'll remember every experience that you had that made you feel a certain way, and that's what connects to that nostalgic part that will keep people coming back. You know, so creating those nostalgic moments that you'll remember when you're 40 that you'll tell your kids, or maybe you won't. You know?
Like I've never created a festival, you know, obviously, unless you see Frisky Hug on a flyer or whatever. But like
we got you next time,
my man. But like, you know, for me, it's like never say no to an opportunity that arises for to make a festival better, right? And we were just talking about this downstairs, where like, you're not gonna make your money and you're not gonna sell your tickets this year,
Mhm.
but next year, right? And we're not talking just influencers creating content. I say influencers, but it's really not the influencers. It's the content creators, right?
Yeah.
So we gotta separate the influencers from the content creators. If you're an influencer, you just have a high number of followers,
Just
and
pushing product in a certain way.
exactly. And when we're talking about content creators, we're talking about like basically putting the experience into actual video,
Mhm.
or like even like a larger scale picture and stuff, right? So like a lot of these vloggers, a lot of these podcasters and stuff, when they talk about these festivals, and you created that experience that they can talk about, that's gonna be in people's mind. Like, wait a minute, you're telling me that all this happened at fucking Endless Summer Nights? Like, no way.
Yeah.
Like, so like, yeah, I might not have sold a ticket today. People don't know about whatever's happening at this moment in time. But next year, when that fucking shit happens, and I know this for a fact because of my YouTube channel, my videos for certain festivals, like they increase by like 1,000 views. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? Like it'd be like 500 to 1,000 views, and it's just steadily increasing because we're getting towards that time of the festival.
Yeah.
People want to know what's going on. I'm not going if there's dogs everywhere, right? So
Yeah.
I put all that shit in my content. A lot of content creators do the same thing, right? You're never gonna find that in an influencer Instagram post.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go a year back into those influencer posts and be like, okay, where did they talk about this
Yeah.
shit? That doesn't happen.
Yep.
YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the entire world. If
Yeah.
you're a YouTuber and you vlogged about this shit, that's incentive to get these YouTubers into like your festival somehow, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people like so I'm not really supposed to be promoting certain companies and stuff, but like Imagine, for instance,
Mhm.
like they have a huge like content creator program
Yeah.
where like, oh, if you're a YouTuber, we want you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that just goes back into like the whole marketing thing is like,
Mhm.
you're not gonna get your sales today or this festival,
Yep.
but next year when everyone's watching those fucking videos and trying to figure out how to plan, how to get ready,
Yep.
what did you go through, because there's a lot of like guide videos and stuff like that.
Yep.
That's gonna lead into like getting you to where you need to get to.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of the same mindset that.
Of course. Sorry, guys.
It's all good. Edit.
Oh no, we don't edit shit.
No,
man.
I
We fucking good, man. Y'all understand.
But no, I mean, just like any kind of promoter or business owner, when it comes into that, like the first, you should really kind of expect all sellout shows all the time. Like you're talking as at least a 2 to 3 years investment.
Mhm.
You might have some pluses and you might make a whole bunch of money, but you might also lose a lot of money, and it kind of balances out, statistically. But you have to keep at it.
What is your thought when you lose that money though? Like,
Oh,
come on,
man.
man.
Yeah,
You must be going
it's-
into some downhole spiral. I'm like, mother.
Yeah, dude, it's it's really in a sense it's not really kind of the losing the money, because money comes and goes. Like you can find money, you can lose money, it goes and goes, but it's kind of like that disappointing that you let everybody else down. Everybody else that came to the shows, they had a great time, fantastic, everybody loved it, it was great. To the people that were involved in the back scene, it was kind of like, well, shit, like this sucks, like lost a lot of money, but you always have to kind of continually look at it as investments for the future. Because the people
Exactly,
that
man.
lose and they kind of get down on themselves and they give up, like that's why companies don't survive past the first year. So you really have to kind of dig deep. I mean, I recently even took a break, where it was like I considered leaving music, and it was just because there's so much stress and expectations and constant, just like, I mean, it's a 16-hour day every day, like constantly working emails, phone calls, keeping up with people, so trying to mentally keep that in check is difficult, but it's worth it.
When you get like a loss, though, do you think like, okay, how can I make it better, or do you have like a conclusion, but like, okay, I already know why we didn't do well, like and things out of your control. We're talking fucking COVID, this and this, right? Like there's some shit that you just physically can't control.
Yeah.
But do you ever think that like, okay, I could have maybe done something better?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that's imperative to any business owner, is always adapting and kind of pivoting, around what situations happened, and what could be improved upon and what could not be needed at all. Maybe you did try too much in one section and you neglected another. So always having to analyze that data afterwards, whether it's like your mental data or like physical numbers.
Yeah.
Is always important, because there's shows that I threw that I did not think were gonna go well and they sold out. Like, and I saw shows that I was 100% sure were going to be massive successes, and they weren't.
I think like giving away like even like free tickets as well. Like let's say you do like a raffle giveaways and all that stuff.
Mhm.
That's all like, you're not always thinking like, oh my god, I like gave up a free ticket on that. But if you're gonna fucking sell out anyways, like
Yeah.
at this point, now they're buying merch and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you just push the narrative, you push that branding out. You know, there does come a point to where you're just like, I just want people there. Like, I'll make up with it in food and beverage, or I'll make up with them merchandise, or in investments into the future for them coming back because, oh, I got a free show. You know, there's people, like every single person I've ever gotten a free
that's your
ticket
chance,
to.
and that's your chance to create a positive experience for them. They will come back, and they might even pay for it next time because they're like, oh, well, it's a good festival, bro, I promise. Like, that was, you know.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that I remember every single person I've ever gotten a free ticket to, and they still come to every single one of our events. Doesn't matter if it's in Texas, Indianapolis. I've had people that have flown to each of our events because I gave them a free ticket and a great experience for the first time. Yeah. You know, and that's.
I mean, you basically given them that trust, like it's gonna be a good fucking show. I promise you.
Exactly. Like, you know, you have to build that. You know, that's the biggest part in business is that trust and that reputation that holds with it. Yeah. So I think.
And honestly, those like losses, like they contribute towards your success anyways. And it's like let's say you give out like a free fucking show. You're like, okay, we're gonna do a good show. I'm gonna spend this much fucking money, which probably sucks, whatever. But like, let's say you're gonna do fucking lasers, whole production. You're gonna do the thing. It's a fucking free show. And then the next one, you're like, hey, I'm gonna like sell each ticket for $60 fucking. Yeah. They're gonna be like, $60 fucking. Like, dude, it's a good fucking like the lineup's like I promise you, like the production is fire.
Yeah, that word of mouth is very important.
It is very important.
And I think we have that good reputation for our lineups are always creative and out of the box, and always really good. Production is always really on point. Customer service and everything else that goes along with it. We really tried hard to kind of keep that focus in on us.
Yeah. So we got Interstellar coming up and whatever. When is that gonna be? Do you know? Do you guys have like a date?
Yeah. So they just announced it yesterday. So they have pre-sale tickets on now. That's gonna be August 12th to the 14th. How
many days is that?
3 days. 3 days. 3 days camping. So it's gonna be a pretty big fest. More news on Endless Summer Nights coming back to Florida. We'll see.
You're playing like possibly like a 1 day thing again, or
we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll see. We're still working out the kinks, but I think we have some interesting stuff in the works. We will be doing another traveling series nationally. So we have we're coming back to Texas. We'll be going Indianapolis, New Orleans. We'll be everywhere.
Careful with New Orleans.
California.
Make sure I say New Orleans, you say New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah. Nolans.
Nala. Let's just say Nala. Wait, Nala or Nola?
Republic Nola.
Nola.
Yeah, so that's a big
I love
venue
Nola.
out there.
Fucking first time was for fucking Buku and shit like that. I mean, but just be careful with like tropical storm season, bro. I tried to fucking visit Nola like twice, and both times I had to cancel flights. I'm like, I'm just not fucking going. Fuck
I lived in Mississippi when I was younger, and right when Katrina came through. So that was.
It's just rough, man. Like,
it's Florida too, but like at least in Orlando, we're like in the center. It's different than New Orleans. It's just like right in the impact zone. But yeah.
Before we end this podcast, man, why don't you go ahead and just plug in your company, just where people can find you.
Yeah. So on Instagram, it's Primal Productions MGMT. Endless Summer Nights is going to just be EndlessSummerNights.usa. Facebook, it's going to be ESN Music Fest. And then the other one is going to be Primal Productions Management, same thing on Facebook for that. Twitter, MGMT at Primal, and then ESN Music Fest is going to be there.
No TikTok, bro. What are we doing? We're slacking over here.
Yeah, content creators hit me up. We'll get something going if you guys want to run the page.
There you go.
Come reach out to us.
There you go, man.
Emails, DMs are always open. We'll be taking on more influencers, content creators, marketers. We'll be expanding very rapidly and very quickly. And we'll keep on growing. Well,
John, Primal, Endless Summer Nights, it has been a pleasure having you on the podcast. This is literally aside from like the mini episode, this is my actual first like real like in person. Literally the mini episode was just gonna test out the equipment because like I'm not gonna fucking have any hiccups while we do this shit. But to the viewers out there, man, this is available on literally every major platform. If you want to watch the video, it's on YouTube. And like I say at every episode, until the next one.